special edition of Horror at the Store. I am your host, Katie Hattenbach. Again, didn't stutter. Let's go. Amazing. I have a stutter, so it's always exciting when I don't stutter on my name. We have a amazing human here today. He is a comedian and an actor. You may know him from a few films. Max Keeple's Big Move, Son of the Mask, Romeo and Juliet, Malibu's Most Wanted, and a little tiny film you may know, Scream. Give it up for Jamie Kennedy.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I love your shirt.
Thank you. I love this movie. Is one of my favorite movies, so it's honestly very surreal to be talking to you right now.
Really?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 25. I'm 24, turning 25 this year.
So you're 24. You're 24.
Yeah.
And does the movie? So it came out before you were born.
96, correct.
And when's the first time you saw it?
The first time I saw it, I think, was in elementary school.
That's young.
Yeah. Well, they showed me, like, my parents showed me Austin Powers, South Park, really young age. Okay. So they're like, we're just gonna destroy you quickly. And I think I watched Scream 4 first on YouTube because it was free. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'm like, I should probably go back and watch the original. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is such a great, like, iconic film.
So this is a moment for you.
This is a moment for me.
Because you're a Scream head.
Everyone who knows me knows that Scream is my movie. Whenever I'm like, do you want to watch a movie? I'm like, are we watching Scream? Is that what we're doing? Is that like, I'm the type of person who, like, I've seen every documentary about it. I, will talk during the film and be like, this is what happened in this moment and this. So to be here with you and to hear even more behind the scenes and all your fun stories it's awesome. I'm excited.
Well, thank you. That's really very cool of you.
Yeah.
You probably know more about it than I do.
Who knows? But how did you get handed the script? Like and like how did that go about when you first were auditioning, and like what were your thoughts on it?
Can you hear me if I sit like this?
Yeah, just turn the mic a little straighter.
Man, I got to do this.
There we go.
I'm comfy. It's kind of crazy that we're doing this interview in the basement of the Comedy Store. Because a lot of people don't realize that I started as an extra, and then moved to LA literally just to do extra work. And I was like, oh, this is cool, warm weather.
Yeah.
I always had like fame in my eyes, but like, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then back in the late 80s, early 90s, it was so different. You had to submit and try to get a headshot to an agent. Mm-hmm. And so you would do that, you would wait, and it would just have all this time and have all this crazy energy. So that's how I started doing open mic comedies at 19. And then people are like, you should, keep doing comedy. So that's how I really started. I really wanted to be an actor. Mm-hmm. And I would do the potluck here and do every place, and a lot of hipster coffee houses before there were like rooms, but it was mostly poetry, like early Indigo Girls.
Yeah.
Performance art, and a few of us as comedians. There wasn't a ton of us, and did that for many years, trying to get spots, and then. It's a backstory, but I want to tell you because we're here, is that my girlfriend at the time, Jenica Berger, who was in here, she was very in the store, got me a spot, which helped me get a meeting, which helped me get an agent right out of here. And then that agent started sending me auditions. Ooh. And then, long story short, started getting commercials, started getting stuff after a long struggle. So Scream was one of these. It's really like if you ever listen to stories about Seinfeld or anything that you kind of really like in Hollywood, it was made by like a way like almost by mistake or luck, because they had no idea. You have to understand, is Miramax was making all these Oscar movies. They said, we have to make more money. So they opened up a genre label where they're going to do raunchy comedies and horror. So they made this other label called Dimension, and we were the second movie that they greenlit. The first one was Dusk Till Dawn with Quentin Tarantino and George Clooney. And so the budget was like $10 million, and they did, they had one star, Courtney, and then everyone else was like up and coming.
Yeah.
And so Nev was on a show called Party of Five. Skeet was in a movie called The Craft.
Love The Craft.
And so, great movie.
Such a good movie.
Matthew was in Serial Mom. He was getting known as an actor. Rose was an indie darling. So there was different things, and I was really unknown. I was like this guy who was like an unknown beginning stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned my face off. And I don't know how it is for you guys now, but like the third audition, I met Wes.
Oh my God.
And
which is like, that's normally what I've heard. I haven't gotten a call back yet, but one day. But normally what happens is like it takes like 5 to 7 to even like meet the director now.
It depends but where you're at, but like, usually start with the assistant. The assistant likes you. Then you meet the casting director. The casting director likes you. They'll bring you back sometimes for the producers or the right to director. It can be 2 to 3, sometimes 4. But meeting him, the casting director, Lisa Beach, I owe you my career. And she brought me in the West right away. I auditioned, and he told me it was really good. And I was like, okay, but you never know. And you don't know people being nice.
Yeah. You're like, oh, are you saying that? Or is it, do you actually mean that? Also, you still had pink hair at the time?
No. So then I get it. I get a good feedback, and I had nothing. I had like a, what Rallies is? Yeah. Did a hamburger commercial. I had a El Pollo Loco commercial. So, and all these things came out of comedy clubs, this being one of them, meaning like I was able to get, people would come to clubs and say, hey, you should come in and read, which was beauty of comedy clubs. So I had, all of a sudden, after that audition, I got a guest spot on a TV show on the WB that led to a guest spot on Ellen before she came out. And she had her own show. And then I started getting like little guest spots. At the same time, I had auditioned for Romeo and Juliet like 2 months before. And they kept saying, you're not dead, you're not dead, you're not dead. And then, long story boring, I got that. So I got that, had 2 or 3 auditions in Scream, started filming the movie, came back for a screen test from filming Romeo and Juliet on a weekend, flew myself back, pink hair, and they're like, what's up with you? And I'm like, this? And they're like, yes, your hair.
Your hair's pink.
The producer, Marianne, I'll never forget, goes, your hair! It's pink! Which, by the way, I was early MGK. Like, I was 30 years ahead.
Exactly.
So I'm like, look, it's for a movie, Romeo and Juliet. Here's the press release. I go, it's Leo. Do you know Leo? Leo didn't do Titanic yet. Yeah. But in town, everyone loved him. And so they knew. And I'm like, it's Leo's next movie with Claire. And I was another movie I was auditioning for the same day called The Pest with John Leguizamo. And he was also Romeo and Juliet. So I screen tested for The Pest in the morning. And I screen tested for Scream in the afternoon.
Oh, my God.
Yes. I did not get The Pest. And I did good on Scream. I flew back, and then they said that they really like Jason Lee. And they said, you're awesome, but the studio doesn't think you have enough credits.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So, and I saw Breckin Meyer, and they were like, they really like Breckin, and Breckin had gotten Clueless, and I went pretty far on Clueless. I didn't get that role. So, like, there was a group of us, Seth Green, that would go out for these types of movies, and the law, it's too much. I'll take you 10 hours to tell you everything. But basically, Wes Craven made my career. Him and the producers said, listen, you got a lot of names. Sometimes you take a chance. This guy is the role.
Yeah.
So I was every day Romeo and Juliet. My agent would call me for like a week, and there was like 10 actors and 9 and 8, and by like literally like by the 10th day, they're like, "You got it, baby." It literally was like a call, like, "You got it, baby." And I was like in Mexico looking at a statue of Guadalupe, literally having a margarita like at the end of my work day. And I was like, and she's like, "You got it, baby." And I was like, "What?" Like, it was, yeah.
That's amazing.
But it was a huge process, and I was very lucky.
Yeah. I feel like with Scream, everything, like there were a lot of those moments where it's like this almost didn't happen, or this person almost didn't get cast, or this almost, because like even Wes was like gonna pass on the script, and his assistant was like, "You need to do this," and it was his assistant,
Julie,
that convinced
who's
him.
a legend.
And that's crazy to me that like this.
Do you know all the different machinations? I'm sure you do. So Drew was originally offered.
Sydney.
Yes, which was brilliant that she didn't do it.
Yes.
But at that time, she is doing so many movies.
Yeah, and that was such a good call on her part, and everyone was like, "I don't know if it's gonna work," but they're like, that made the movie.
Do you know who originally they were talking about for Gail? Besides, obviously it's Courtney, and it's only Courtney, but there are rumors that they were talking to someone else.
I don't know that one.
Janine Garofalo.
Okay, I know that.
Oh wow.
Interesting, right?
Interesting. I know that David Arquette wanted to be.
David originally
was going to be Billy.
He wanted to be Billy,
and so did.
And
Matt wanted to be
originally
Billy.
read for Billy. I always just read for my role. I thought that was the role for me. Rose. I think it was. I don't know. Rose. I think Rose always Rose. But there was a lot of little back and forth, and Wes, to get him was like, it was crazy how it happened. And they got him, and as soon as they got him, that's when we all started taking these meetings. But when we were reading in the beginning, it was like a horror movie. And then when he got on, it became
an actual thing. That's amazing. And how was it? I mean, you've answered this probably thousands of times, but working with Wes Craven, what was that like? What stories, wisdom did he pass down to you?
It's so much. It's you have to understand. I think I turned 26 during the movie. I was 25, right around when you are. And we shot the movie up in a place called Healdsburg, which is Santa Rosa, which is basically wine country. I never really drank wine or anything. So we were making this crazy movie, but it was contained, and it became like this little family. And we were like killing each other and screaming and running. But then at night, we would have these beautiful Italian dinners, bottles of wine.
That's awesome.
Sometimes smoke a little something.
Yeah.
And it was really artistic. Like I equate it to like making a movie in the 60s, when you listen to like Jack, not to, Jack Nicholson, not to be an a-hole, but like if I was lucky, I've heard some stories from him and Dennis Hopper, like how it was like a community, and they just made a movie as they were doing it, and they still lived their lives. And I didn't know anything about that. I would do my lines, go back to my room and hide. And after I got a couple scenes in, they were like, "Come to our dinners." And I was like, "I got to know my lines. Like, just come." And so I was, I was scared. I didn't want to mess up. But so then once I started doing it, they really took the pressure off. And so Wes was like the guy to really make you feel that you couldn't fail.
Yeah.
He did it. He really wanted you to be the best version of yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's I see how it's affecting you. It affects me thinking about it because when you do TV is run by so many scared people, and they're so scared of losing their job. And I always tell people, like when they work with me and stuff, I don't give a shit if you fuck up.
Yeah.
Fuck up all day. But I got to know at least you tried what you thought was right.
Yeah.
I get so pissed when people try to predict that this mistake they don't want to make so they don't get in trouble. If we did that, we would never get a new joke.
Exactly.
That's how you get better. You try and you bomb.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't really any failure. It was trying. And it was like, try this or try that. And the beginning of my career, I can tell you like 8 or 9 directors I work with that were like that. And coming from doing some TV where literally people are like, "You're holding the hamburger wrong. You hold it a quarter." Like they're so crazy about it. But yet this and the lineage of time will last, and those things won't. So all I can say is he's a true artist, and I was lucky to get him that. Like 90s Hollywood was 60s Hollywood, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If the 60s were smoke weed, make a movie, disrupt the system, and all these guys became stars, and that's how we felt. We were this band, like a lot of people that you like. We all knew each other. We all lived by Beechwood or, by Fairfax, and we all rented rooms. And, Brad Pitt was ahead of us in a class, but he was also like had a little bungalow in the hills, and it was like you would see people around at coffee shops.
Yeah, you just would be like, everyone was like everyone was like known, but like it was up and coming.
We were up and coming. There was no attitude. MTV would like love us, so they would put you on to promote stuff, and you would know those producers and the young girls that come out of UCLA that started becoming executives, and it was fun. Yeah. And the youth was starting to run Hollywood, but they were, because there was like Sarah Michelle Gellar, I say, really started it with Buffy. She really started young. The WB started this programming of youthful kids, because when I was growing up, I didn't have that. I had Columbo. I never had people on TV my age. I watched The Tonight Show. I watched Joan Rivers, and so it was beautiful. And movie, it's just different now because movies were $8-9 million, so there would be more of them. So you would read, Paulie was doing Biodome and Jury Duty. It was just a magical time of less judgment and more try.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. That's fascinating. That's so cool. I'm a big.
I love how you're right now. You remind me of a girl at a con. You go to cons? You could.
We actually have.
You should have gone to Pasadena LA this summer. We had a Monster Mania.
I wanted to go really badly. Because I saw you, Skeet and Matt were there, and I was like, I want to meet them all. I mean, I actually have. Fun fact: I actually have met you once before at the Laugh Factory. One of my friends did a show there with you.
Okay.
So
who was your friend?
Becca Ward.
Becca. Okay. Oh, Becca.
Yeah.
I love Becca.
Yeah.
From she's at the Chateau.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, but that's I saw you and I was like,
a quickie.
I was like, hi. I was like, I want to I don't want to bother you, but I'm a big fan. Big fan of your work, sir.
Do I freak you out? Because
No.
I forget that.
No, I worked on sets for a long time now, 2 years. But I mean, when you've done, like, I've worked with everyone now, but it's like,
yeah,
you're just a person, but it's also like,
you see for the first time.
You're in my like all time favorite movie. So I was like, I'm talking to Jamie Kennedy. That's wild. I'm talking to. Did you really put our liver in the mailbox next to our spleen? Like that's like. Yeah. That's you. The iconic green shoes and.
Well, thank you. I get it. When you meet somebody for the first time that really affected you, it's a bizarre thing.
It's wild.
I've had that myself.
Yeah.
So, but I forget because I'm just like rolled out of bed. He's like, come to the basement of the store.
And you're like, I'll be there. Yeah, I got you. You're like, it's no big deal. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Oh, also, would you ever dye your hair pink again?
For what I have left, yeah, I should.
You should do it. I think you should do it.
It's funny because MGK really is biting my style a little bit. Like I love the guy, but like there is a lot of people that are taking pictures and putting them side by side.
Yeah.
And it's just another thing that was just wild to do. And I just was like, when we were doing that movie, it was like, again, like my first real part. And Baz was just the greatest guy. And he's just, again, a young...
Wait, in Romeo?
Romeo.
That was your first...
That was my first... I got a movie called The Road to Flin Flon, shout out. And it was... I was at the Laugh Factory. A casting director was there. Okay. He just came up to me and said, I want you to read for this part. I can't tell you how many jobs I've gotten out of comedy clubs. It's crazy. And so it's good mojo. Yeah. And so I went and I read a bunch of times and I got my first role in an indie. And, that was just a teeny bit of enough tape to send to casting directors. My agent did. And then that Romeo was my first like studio movie, but I had done one little indie before, but wasn't on a set like that or anything. So when I was down there, Baz is like, it's going to be colors, it's going to be bright and wild and fucking wild and this and that. And he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, Leo's blonde and Harold, he's got dreads, and Dash has got his orange hair. I'm like, pink.
You're like, done.
And Baz looked at me and he's like, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And he was like so game in my shirt.
Yeah.
And the wardrobe woman would come and the set decorator. I mean, they would look at you and it was like, how would we place within these motifs? You know, like that's what Baz makes. He makes these beautiful motifs. And the pink just worked, and it was like perfect backdrop to Leo and Claire, and it was incredible. So but it really stuck. Like it's really, now I see it on shirts. I see it. That's what's cool. It's like I've kind of gotten comfortable in the sense that I'm now a thing, and I don't really have to work. I like to work, but it's like I don't have to stress sometimes because I'm like I've done it.
Yeah, you're on shirts.
Yeah,
like,
I have.
Is that weird to see yourself on shirts? Like the first time you saw yourself on a t-shirt, or like you're at a con and someone was like, "Oh, you're Randy from Scream, or you're from Romeo and Juliet, or like whatever." They're like, was that weird?
It's exhilarating, and you're like, wow, I like hard work has paid off. The fact that it didn't really happen right away when things were happening, I think is better for me, because it wasn't like we came out and we were Twilight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Twilight was like, if you look at the premiere, I went to him, and Kristen Stewart was like this young actress from like Indie Darling to like,
yeah, it just blew up.
and it was like, that's intense.
Yeah.
We were this little baby that could, just like Romeo and Juliet, we were this little baby that could.
Yeah. And then over time, it just like.
Yeah. So it helped me. So I'm actually was pretty comfortable like with it, and really just grateful. Like I'm grateful. And now Scream with the new, like I just was driving, I saw this billboard for Wednesday, and I'm looking at Jen Ortega, and I'm like, she's just propelling Scream even more.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. She's amazing.
Amazing. And I'm like, that, like, I want to like thank her, because it's like, it's giving me new life. And it's like, just that is connected to Wednesday and Scream when the new one came out. It's just, and the directors are so amazing, and they just reinvigorated new life.
Yeah.
So now it's on cereals, it's on keychains. People send me stuff from all over the world. It's Italian posters, and it's wild. And there's have you ever heard of Bimbo Ghostface?
I have not. Is that like a porn?
No, Bimbo Ghostface.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there is a lot of.
Well, Ghostface was one way, but now Ghostface is non-binary. Ghostface is trans. Ghostface. The masks are so many different colors.
Amazing.
But Bimbo Ghostface is one where like it's like half Swarovski crystals.
Oh.
And it's usually an attractive female with a knife.
Okay, I have seen that.
And that's called Bimbo Ghostface. So, but
that's amazing.
Yeah, and there's Gay Face, and there's so many different, and it's amazing. So like Ghostface, they're making it lovable. They're making Ghostface lovable, and it isn't just a him. Like I thought it was, but now different killers have been female.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Ghostface will forever keep going, because it's not one thing. Ghostface is everyone who inhabits it.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was deep. That was good. That was really good.
I've thought about that recently, and that's why it's empowered by the people.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I have a question for you. So after the initial Scream blew up, that's when people realized part of the fun was not knowing who the killer was. I think the first one was a surprise to everybody, just in the way they did it. After that, it was like, okay, now we need to hide it from the cast. Did you get the full script of the original Scream, or did you get pieces like they were doing in the sequels after that?
No, so we got the movie, and I talk about this all on my YouTube. I do these things called How I Got Cast, and I talk about behind the scenes. So I have a whole Scream 2 video too. But let me see. I had done a bunch of stuff. I started getting stuff. We started having success with Scream, and I had like my second or third serious girlfriend at that time. And so I was like, I started making a little money. So I went to a place called Tulum, which people love now. But at the time, it wasn't an Instagram place. And it was literally like hammocks. And so I went down there for a week and like ate like fish tacos with my girlfriend. And we just chilled. And I remember having a beeper. And my agent called me and I had to find a payphone. And I call back and she's like, you got to come back. And I'm like, why? She's like, because they're going to make a Scream 2. And I'm like, really?
Already?
Because we didn't know.
Yeah.
It was just this independent horror movie. And we just thought if we can just be like, make as much money as Leprechaun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If we can be better than Leprechaun.
And then like do good on video, maybe we'll get a direct to video sequel. You know what I'm saying? You know, because Chucky was killing it. We're like, we don't have a little doll, but like, can we?
Yeah.
So... And I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, why do I have to come back? She's like, because, you know, I want you to like meet with them. And and I didn't even know if I was going to be back. So then I had Kevin's lawyer at the time, and then they can somehow convinced them to all. And my part became amazing. And so to answer your question, the first script I ever got with numbers on it was a script called Titanic. And it was hugely thick. And it had all these numbers. And it was such a project that you could not, if you lost your script, they knew what number it was and you were going to be liable. And that was like, what the fuck? And the internet at the time, you have to remember, this is 97, AOL chat rooms and like, but it's a lot. To scan something and upload it was a fuckload of work and buffering. So the internet was starting to leak stuff on something called Ain't It Cool News. And we had gotten 3/4 of the script and we had a red line down it. So people could only read edges of words. And we never got the ending until we were on set, until it was close to when we were filming those scenes.
Oh my God.
So to your answer, yes, I did not know who the killer was for a while.
Oh my God. So
For Scream 2 or Scream 1?
Scream 2. Scream 1, I knew everything.
Okay, so you got the full script for the original.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
They didn't know. Scream 2, that was rabid. Rabid. People wanted information. They wanted craziness. You have to understand, we went from this little independent horror movie to Nev being on the cover of Rolling Stone in 8 months. And it was every magazine Nev was on the cover. And Sarah Michelle Gellar. And it was just wild. Tori Spelling. I mean, it was just Heather Graham. It was nuts.
yeah, that Scream 2 is like
Everybody wanted to be in it.
everyone was in it. Even in like the Scream 3, Scream 4,
Yeah.
you know, the new Scream, it's always just, it's like who can be in it. It's like who can get their hands on it, because it's an honor to be a part of the Ghostface.
It's an honor. Like you said, just
It's
like in the
literally- it's
last
an honor.
movie.
It's an
It is an honor.
It's like, it's, you know, you're a part of that history. But I feel like more so than, I mean, you know, Halloween is amazing, obviously. Like, we love Halloween. We love Laurie Strode. But the fans around Halloween versus, like, Scream, those are two, like, those, I feel like no one's, like, bending over backwards to be in like the next Halloween movie, but everyone's like, I will do anything to be in Scream.
Really?
That's what it feels like.
Really?
That's what it feels like.
So when did that fever start? Because I remember we had Scream 4, and it came, and it was good. I like Scream 4, but then it didn't stop. Then there was 11 years. So when the new one came out, would you say, for your generation?
When because the newest Scream was the only one I've ever saw in theaters, which I think I saw it 9 times. No, I think I saw it 9 times in theaters.
Wow.
There was one theater I went and I was completely alone. There's no one, which actually that was the most terrifying one. Even though I'd already seen it before, I'm like, I know who dies, I know who lit, whatever. But which I'm still upset by Dewey's death.
I know.
I think I get someone had to die. I get it, but the way they're like, he's just some old washed up guy who, you know, I'm like, that's not the Dewey that we know and love. But I get it. You had to do it, but no. The way they did it, I was like, I don't entirely agree, but it was still good. But no, I was in a theater alone.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying because the movie theater attendant kept walking in and out of the theater. And I was like, this is actually where I die. This is the next opening to the new Scream movie. It's just me in a theater alone, and I just die. This is it. Honestly, it was the opening to Scream too, honestly.
Hey, put yourself in that situation.
I was like, this is where I die. This is it.
You had your own little fantasy.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, I'm going to die. What, I feel like everyone always asks, like, what's your favorite line? But is there a line that, like, no one is, like, that is your favorite that no one is like, it's not my favorite? In Scream 1 or 2.
There's so many good lines.
Yeah, I know. It's packed.
I think this is a good one, but I hope people don't take it the wrong way. But it's like, there's always some stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend.
Yeah.
That's a funny line.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I never thought I'd be so happy to be a virgin. It's a good line.
Yeah. So did you improv any of those?
I improv in the movie. The best stuff, though, is from the script. But there's definitely tags of scenes and stuff. I'm trying to think. And these rules are all there. I might have added a little bit here and there. But no, I mean, most of it. I did improv, but most of it's the script.
Yeah, okay.
And because it was just so good.
Yeah.
And when you're a beginning actor, people are looking at you. Script. Well, yeah, and they're looking at you, and it's like the camera's still rolling, and I'm a comedian, so I was like, I give that moment, and then if they're still rolling, I'm assuming they want something, so then I'd blur it out. So I think there's a couple of scenes, I think, where I said like, "Oh, really, Alicia?" And I think I had a couple of zingers. I got like one, but for the most part, it was the script. But they did encourage me to improvise. That's another thing.
Amazing. What was your favorite scene to shoot out of Scream 1 and 2?
My favorite scene to shoot. Wow.
And just to tag on to that, what was your experience with scene 118, which is like the famous scene, because it was shot over 3 weeks, so it's like how much of that were you there for, and did you come and hang? Because I know people were hanging out on set just to watch everybody else filming in certain scenes.
There's a lot. This is like a 10-answer question. Look, my favorite scene. I don't know if I have a favorite scene. There's too many I could tell you, but I would say in Scream 2, I really loved filming with David in my speech. I think there was a lot of stuff in that speech that was really resonated, and it's on par with the first one.
Yeah,
and the first one's incredible. And we shot that UCLA, and it was just so cool to be in the commissary with him and shooting it, and a couple of years before that, not a couple, but like 5 years before, like 6 years before that, I was working in a commissary at Villanova, getting like food plates. And I just remember going, damn, this is pretty cool that I'm like filming at UCLA.
Yeah.
But 118, there's a lot of stuff I remember. And I would say that, I keep thinking about Skeet, because me and Skeet would go back. We would ride together. Everyone would, but he would always, every day we'd eat a cheeseburger. We would start the day at 5. And I'm like, we're eating like cheeseburger for breakfast. And I think he had a dog with him, maybe not. I'm not sure. I remember that. I remember laying down because I had to be dead. And so when this camera was there, I had to make sure that they saw me. But if not, I got off a lot. And then I remember Nev every day was like, these clothes are getting crustier. And so it was like the clothes were crusty.
Yeah.
So they started bloody, and then they became, was like every day this poor girl was just putting on these crusty, bloody things for weeks.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and it was a lot. I mean, she was a real trooper. Not that it's a hard job, but it's intense. It irritates your skin, and I just remember that. And then I remember shooting A lot of running around, and I just remember usually at the end of it, I would go and have a glass of whoever was those last people standing. I remember Nev used to have amazing wine, so we would go and we would have like a glass of wine, unwind about the day, and then do it all over again. That was literally my life for like 3 weeks doing that scene.
That's insane.
Yeah.
To shoot one scene for 2 days is a lot, or even 1 day. Sometimes that's a lot. But 3 weeks, the same.
Because it's you know,
so
it was a
complex.
working set.
Yeah.
It was a practical. So for the tech heads, it was not a facade, and there was so much, and there was angles, and then the way Wes does stuff, and he'll surprise you with this shot. It was the angles, the Dutch, you know, the Dutch overs, the split diopters. It wasn't just following people, and then, you know, then the kitchen, the blood, and it was written really well, but it was like, and carnage ensues. So there's like, they had to like block out each thing and
figure out what's
stunts, squibs.
Yeah.
At the time, God rest his soul, a couple years before, Brandon Lee had died on The Crow, which was made by this company. I think it was by this company. So that was safety was a big concern.
Yeah.
You know, knives. So it was a lot. And it was great thing was we were a small family and everybody knew each other, every department. So we were careful with it.
That's good. That would have been bad if there was another mishap.
Yeah, no, it was incredibly. I've never felt like that on the set. But, you know, I know these things happen, obviously.
Yeah. So do you think that Randy should have died in Scream 2?
Ooh. It's a big question.
Yeah.
Do I think
Because I feel like Scream 3 was like that's Randy's movie. Like he's the movie buff and it's all about the movies. I mean it's always about
Scream 3?
Scream 3, yeah, they have like the
You're saying what he predicted.
Yeah. But like cuz they remake everything and it's more Hollywood stuff and I'm like I feel like that would be right up his alley, and he would have helped everyone out more.
Here's what I would say. I would say is that I think that Bob Weinstein told me that at Scream 4. He said, killing you was one of the biggest mistakes in my career. Now, whether he meant that or not, I don't know, but I actually really believed it. And I wasn't even going to go to the premiere because at that time, I had done Screams and I had done his stuff and I'd done a TV and I was already my own entity from different stuff. And I was like, but they're like, come to the premiere. And so I was like, okay, I'll go. Because I love everybody. But I felt like I was literally a spectator. And for him to say that, was amazingly made me feel really good. And then, you know, we didn't see it for a while. And then over the pandemic, we all did a Zoom call. And Kevin had this really brilliant thing. He was like, look, the reason why you love Scream is because we kill people that you care about. So do I think I should have died the way Kevin says it? Yes, it makes sense. That's why you care so much about the opening, because Drew died.
Yeah.
It wasn't just her death. It was part of you could not disassociate the fact that they just killed Drew Barrymore, a big star. You're like, what the fuck? This is not how it works.
Yeah.
So you're excited. But I do think that, you know, at the time it was really Nev and Courtney. You know that. David was supposed to die too in the beginning.
Oh my God.
And then they did a little shot with him doing a thumbs up just in case.
Yeah.
He tested really well, and the rest is history. And I think when I got shot, I was dead, but they could have won one or two ways in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I came back. So I think probably now with the fever and the insanity with which it is, I think Randy could have also been very effective if he's always getting fucking shot and stabbed and killed.
That would have been.
But never dies.
Yes.
And
that
it's
funny. I think that would have been like a funny, like, God damn it, not again.
Yes. And like, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I literally am the voice of the audience. Like, I say what you're thinking, and that's the character. And people just feel like if there's a character that's them in the movie, it's Randy. So they feel like their voice was muted. So in that way, no, I don't think he should die. So I'm split on it.
Yeah.
But he did.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did. It's sad. He died. When you were, because I know that they always would say like, oh, Roger, the voice of Ghostface, would be like on the phone with you, and he would actually be talking to you, but he'd be saying other stuff, but you'd be saying your lines. What was he saying to you during that Randy's final scene?
Roger, I was really good because it's funny because you're on a set and everything is like, safe, but, you're acting.
Yeah.
But Wes still wanted to make you feel like you're, I don't know, in the moment. So it was cool as we shot it at a college in Atlanta, that part of it, half there and half in UCLA. And the first morning they shot some stuff and the whole afternoon was just me. And so my parents were visiting me that week, so it was nice. And Wes had Roger there. And he had him somewhere where I didn't know he was. So when I'm looking around, I'm actually looking for Roger.
Okay.
And he would say shit about my mother.
Oh my God.
And my mother was there.
Oh God.
And then he put my mother on the phone.
Oh no.
And I'm like, she's not there. He's like, she's here with you. I'm going to kill your fucking mother.
Oh my God.
And she would get on the phone. I'm like, are you there? Like, I'm thinking, and she's like, Jamie. Like, they cut it. So I was like so fucking surprised. So it was awesome. And then we rehearsed the stunt when I get grabbed in the van, but I didn't know exactly how it was going to go down.
Yeah.
So that's why it looks like a surprise. So he would say some stuff in the script, but he would also talk shit about my mother.
Oh my God.
Which I thought was really effective.
That's terrifying. So, and you had met him after the first Scream, or
yeah,
okay? Because I was like,
I love him. Like I really love him.
He's an amazing person. In my head, it would be really complicated if you Wes was like, you can never interact with the guy who plays Ghost.
Well, we didn't really know him. I don't remember. I think I saw him during the first movie. I mean, forgive me, but and I think he came, and I'm like, who's that? And they're like, that's the guy that's gonna do the voice. It wasn't even Ghostface at the time because we were just figuring it all out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, what's up, man? And then when he hit, it became such a hit, and he was so iconic. The next one, he was there a lot more, and he would say stuff. He would call you on the phone, or so he was there. I mean, he was there in the first one, but I feel like he was there a lot more during the second one. But sometimes, as you know, someone's just got an AD reading the lines. Yeah. So it's crazy. I can't remember stuff, man. It's 27 years ago. But yeah, and then now throughout the years, I've become much more friendly with him, and he's got such a vast career of doing different voices, and he's great. He's a lot like Wes. Wes is a lot like George Lucas, and Roger's a lot like Wes and George Lucas, where there are these guys that are like these quiet cinephiles, really heady, meaning very, very intelligent, non-emotional, like won't get mad at anything. And then when push comes to shove, they'll film huge explosions or insane stuff. And Roger just turns it on, then he's quiet again. Yeah. And so that's what George Lucas. George Lucas is, the Millennium Falcon's coming down. He's like, all right, let's go here. So it's like that's how Wes is, and it's beautiful because it calms you down.
Yeah.
If you're this anxiety-ridden actor, So Roger's like that. He's very calm.
That's good.
But he plays an insane person.
Yeah, he's insane, but he can actually bring it down, and I've heard that about Wes, that he was just a calming presence, but then would be more blood, more blood.
Yeah,
but then,
yeah,
would be like, chill, what's up, guys?
I would equate him to a cinema studies professor tenured in at Berkeley. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He's that dude who would have the office and the sweater and the glasses and talk about Godard.
Yeah.
But he just made these amazing horror movies, but he could do any movie. He could make Godard movies, but he was like that. But were there times when he'd get fucking heated? Yes. But rarely, Yeah. But yeah, he'd be like, more blood, get it crazy. But it's funny because to me, he's probably one of the more calmer people I've worked with, and have stuff that I've seen on sets that I will never tell because I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
To me, you have to do. But I always talk about this with the people now. It's like, what's your line? To me, to me, the fucking movie is everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, Ice Cube said this one time. He was like, yo, something's temporary, but he's like, film is forever. I'll never forget that on Three Kings. And he's like, yo, this shit is going to be a blockbuster forever. And I was like, yo, that hit me. So he's like, we got to get this shit.
Yeah.
And so... So sets can be crazy. Sets can be highly emotional. Sets can be wild. Okay, as long as it's not unnecessary.
Yeah.
With just crazy assholes, the creative process is wild.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been on a lot of sets that I don't think are crazy, but they probably would be crazy to the normal person.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the sandbox. Again, if nothing is illegal or immoral, be as wild and as emotional as you are to make something fucking great. That's my opinion.
As a PA, I've been screamed at many a times. Yes. And when I first was in my first job, I got screamed at, and I was like, it was my first day in Hollywood, just chill. And then he came back around, he's like, that wasn't you, that was me. And I was like, oh, everyone's just so anxious. Like everyone's just so anxious. They want to get it done, but they want to do it well. They want to get it done fast, but just get it done and do something that you're proud of. And that's everyone gets excited, but also it's just excited nervousness. And that you have to learn like, okay, they weren't actually yelling. They have a lot of passion and they just want to get it done. And they're just under a lot of stress.
So it's like, I've had some stories. I'll tell you some other time, but like, I don't mind it. I've had work with very powerful people that you would know that have hollered at me because they're like, "Where's the fucking guy I hired?"
Yeah,
that stunk. Like I've had very, very famous people, amazing people say that was not good.
and at least they were honest.
And I was like, okay, what do I? But I was just like something in me because I was raised with these amazing directors that made me feel like I was equal to them. So I felt like, okay, yeah, I fucked up. So I never like, I was just like, okay, so tell me what you want to do. Like, I was never scared of line readings. Yeah. I was never scared, like, tell me where you want me to go. Like, I'm your bitch.
Yeah.
And then they would do it. And the one thing that's what they liked about me, they said, you're so fucking malleable, like, dude. Like, you don't take anything personally and you get it done. So, and then they would hug me like, that was awesome. And that's what the process is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're allowed to fight. We're allowed to be upset. We're allowed to laugh. It's like, I don't know. I have a whole belief system on this stuff. So it's like, again, as long as anything's not illegal or immoral, then it's the creative process. But like you said, you get hollered at unless it's There's a story about a very powerful producer one time that made his assistant drive to Palm Springs, apparently, to bring him this certain sandwich.
Oh my God.
He opened the door. It wasn't from the fucking place he wanted. Drive back and bring it back again. This is, I don't know if it's true, and I'm not going to drop names. That's what we call unnecessary assholism.
That was my old boss. That was literally like something like that.
Okay,
happened.
well that's asshole.
So,
that's assholism.
100%.
That's fucking power hungry bitch assism.
Yeah.
So like that, those types of people need to be checked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But other than that, if it's just the sun's going down and fucking we're losing light and we have a hard out and every hour we go over it's $200,000, that's okay.
Yeah.
Tensions
It's
rise.
like we gotta go. We're like it's money's on the line.
Yeah.
We don't.
You can't control the fucking sun.
Yeah, we got. Unfortunately, we can't.
Helicopters.
But, yeah.
You get the pilot, or he's like, "I'm 1,000 an hour, asshole." You know, like
We're
that
like,
type
well,
of shit.
and then that's when shit gets real.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah. It's like everything with a grain of salt. You're like, I know that was a personal. If it was, they'll come duke it out with me later. But they'll most likely will be like, hey man, like great working with you. Like I've had so many people scream at me and then come out afterwards and be like, hey, what's up? Like, that was not at you. And I'm like, I know, you're good. Go ahead. I got you.
We are in a very high stress business. If everyone could do it, they would.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of interesting because I'm trying to stay focused, but like I can look at TikTokers and see someone has 13 million followers. I don't know who they are, but they're effective. They are creating something for an audience that is voracious for them.
Yeah.
They may film simple TikToks and they may not have any pressure, right? Our business, we were raised differently and blah, 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 since there was less outlets to distribute stuff. So it was like, we're getting the shot. So maybe things are a little less tense now because of the new generation and new technology where it's like, hey, man, which I do find working with younger creators, it's like, hey, man, we can figure this out.
Yeah.
But, films and TV were such a thing. It was so precious. I'm not saying they're not art now and they're not great, but our eyeballs are being diverted to so many different things that maybe it will make people a little more chill. But if you're making anything great, you can get tense.
Yeah. Totally agree. So going back to Scream really quickly, what is your favorite Scream movie out of all of them? Because I'm assuming, have you've seen all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Out of all of them.
Well, it's got to be number one.
Okay. Well, I mean,
It has to be number one. Here's my order.
okay.
I bet I think we're on the same page.
Okay.
1, 2, 5. I just lost you. 4, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 5, 4, 3.
Okay.
I know somebody, my agent loves 1, 4,
Ooh.
5, 3. No, 2, 3. He has 2 way down there.
Interesting.
I know. Again, 1, 2, 5.
1, 2, 5. Okay.
4, 3.
Yeah. 1, 2, 5, 4, 3.
Where are you at?
1, 2, 4, 5, 3.
Woo!
Yeah.
1, 2,
4,
4.
5, 3.
4 is making a come up.
4
A lot of people love 4.
When I first saw it, I was like, this is amazing. The more I watch it, the more I'm like, okay, it's not the best Scream, but I liked it. I've always liked it, and I'll stand by it.
It's so good, and it's got. You want to talk about like female empowerment, whether they did it on purpose or not? There's so many young ingenues in that movie. So many different actresses from different walks of pop culture, and the beginning kill, and then it was like a fake out of the kill of the kill. Allison Brie's so funny.
Oh, she was hilarious.
And it's just a Nev and Corey. It's so and Kirby, Hayden. It really is coming up more and more. And Emma Roberts. I mean, there's so many iconic people in that movie. So I have to rewatch it. Jesus. But yeah, it's up there. But 1, 2, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch 3 again because you just got me excited about it.
Yeah, 2 and 3, I haven't everyone's like, oh yeah, 2 and 3, like, those are interchangeable. I'm like, everyone's either like Die Hard 3 or they hate it, and there's like no in between. Like I've talked to a lot of people who are like fans of Scream, and they're like, I hate 3 or like I love 3, and they will fight me on it to the death. And I'm like, it's in the series, and I'll always vouch for it, but it's not my personal.
I think those people that get mad at Courtney's bangs, they're like really weird about her bangs. I'm like,
I mean, that's fair. It wasn't.
It was her choice.
She did that?
I don't know, but whatever. It was her.
I mean,
the hair girl. They all did it. Whatever it is, but people are like,
a choice.
Why did she have bangs? I think literally the movie is like about her bangs. People get really. That's like all you see is the comments. But I think I have to watch the movie and not think about the bangs.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
And it's again truly an honor to talk to you about my favorite movie, Scream, and we thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you. It's really, really cool to have me and to be here with you. I'm honored that you have me because I can tell that you are the lifeblood of the generation that makes it keep going. So thank you.
Of course, and hopefully you're in Scream 6 in some way, shape, or form. Maybe. I don't know. A voiceover?
I'm dead.
No, like, because you did the voice
in
Scream
5?
Yeah.
What voice did I do?
You
Quiz.
Did, oh, God. Because
Quiz.
Someone's like, oh, nice house, Mocker. That was Matthew. And then you'd said,
I got it.
What is it?
It's something about the dad.
Ooh. Ooh, he got you.
The line is, someone's dad is here.
Someone's lame-ass dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then for Wes, who said that?
You all did.
Including Rose.
Yeah.
Wow, you're good. You're good.
I got you. I got
Thanks,
the
you
one
guys.
thing, but But again, thank you. You're amazing. And
Appreciate you.
guys, we'll see you next time.